Welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly glad you're joining us today because we're tackling a topic that affects so many of us when the seasons start to turn. You know that feeling, right? When winter rolls in and it just completely changes your mind. It's not just about the temperature dropping. We actually see profound shifts in our mood, our sleep patterns, our energy levels, and even our appetites. So today we're going to break down exactly why that happens and how we can best support ourselves through the darkest months of the year. Let's kick things off immediately with a pretty provocative question. Can ASMR actually cure winter depression? If you spend any time online, you've probably seen internet trends that dangerously blur the lines between cozy winter vibes and clinical realities. You'll see things titled Winter Depression ASMR that make it seem like a crackling virtual fireplace is all you need to cure your seasonal blues. No way. Today, we are going to untangle the actual science from the aesthetics and look at what really works for our biology versus what just works for our comfort. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover winter and the mind, defining seasonal affective disorder, using light for the body clock, ASMR for winter comfort, and finally, building a safe winter routine. Let's get right into it. All right, starting with section 1, winter and the mind, and the very real impact of the dark months. Right out of the gate, we need to validate something. Winter is genuinely tough on the human brain. And it's not just in your head. Well, actually, scratch that. It is in your head, but for very real biological reasons. We humans sometimes act like we want to go into full hibernation mode. And honestly, it makes total sense when you look at the environmental triggers. We aren't just dealing with cold weather. We're battling shorter days and significantly darker mornings. Because of that, we spend far less time outdoors, which completely throws off our standard daily routines. These aren't just minor inconveniences. They are massive environmental changes that strip away the natural cues our bodies rely on to regulate our motivation, our energy, and our baseline mental health. Moving on to section 2, defining seasonal affective disorder or SAD, and going way beyond what people just casually call the winter blues. So here is an absolutely crucial distinction. SAD is not just disliking winter or wishing you were on a warm beach right now. It is a recognized, recurring pattern of clinical depression symptoms that are tied directly to the changing of the seasons. It's a serious condition, and more importantly, it's a condition that deserves real, structured care. We really need to draw a firm medical boundary here. The general winter blues, that might just bring some mild fatigue, a desire to live in your sweatpants indoors, or feeling a bit sluggish, totally normal. But clinical SAD is a recurring pattern of severe lethargy or persistent hopelessness. Clinical reviews point to very clear treatments for this, which we'll get to in a second. But if you were experiencing recurring depression, you're looking at a clinical reality that may require light therapy, psychotherapy, medication, or professional clinician guidance. It is so vital that we don't try to treat clinical realities with solutions that were just meant for a cozy winter mood. Which brings us perfectly to section 3, light for the body clock. Think of this as our biological anchor. When we're talking about treating the actual root of seasonal affective disorder, we absolutely have to talk about light. Clinical reviews consistently identify bright light therapy as a first-line treatment option for SAD. Why? Because light has a strong, direct connection to our circadian and seasonal biology. According to guidance from major institutions like the Mayo Clinic, choosing the right light box and using it safely in the morning can literally reset your circadian rhythm. Light is speaking the exact biological language your brain is desperate to hear when those dark months hit. Now for section 4, ASMR for winter comfort. If light is our biological anchor, think of ASMR as our psychological landing pad. Let's put these two side by side to see how they actually work. ASMR has some incredible benefits. Research shows it can improve mood, promote relaxation, and even help with arousal for some viewers. But look at the mechanisms. Bright light therapy directly resets those biological circadian signals to treat clinical SAD. Meanwhile, ASMR provides comfort, it helps create bedtime cues, and it grounds our attention. Sound intervention reviews show us that listener preference and our environment completely shape how well we handle mental stress. So think of it this way. Light does the heavy biological lifting, while ASMR provides the safe space for an exhausted mind to finally land. This brings us to a concept I like to call layered care, and it's something you should definitely take away from this explainer. Winter mental health requires layers. The first layer is light, which anchors the circadian rhythm. Next is sleep. Winter can make our sleep timing drift wildly all over the place. But ASMR can act as a really powerful bedtime cue, telling your body, hey, the day is ending, it's time to settle down. Then we have comfort. Cozy sounds like a soft voice or personal attention reduce the emotional harshness of those cold, dark months. And finally, attention. Depression and winter fatigue can easily pull your mind into a dark spiral of rumination. ASMR gives your attention a small, safe, sensory object to focus on. Notice how beautifully ASMR supports your mood and sleep without ever trying to compete with the biological necessity of light.
So, how do we put all this into practice? Section 5, a safe winter routine, and why timing your support is everything.
Before we build this routine, we've got to establish one hard truth. The absolute biggest mistake you can make is expecting sound to do the job of light. Let me be clear, ASMR cannot replace daylight. It's not going to reset every circadian signal in your brain, and it absolutely cannot treat serious depression by itself. ASMR is just not a sad treatment. But when you use it correctly, it can make a winter routine feel so much more doable.
Here's what an actionable, safe winter routine actually looks like. In the morning, you prioritize light first. Open those curtains, step outside if it's safe and bright, or talk to a clinician about safely using a light box if seasonal depression is a pattern for you. Anchor that biology early. Then, during the afternoon, if you start hitting that classic winter brain fog, use ASMR carefully. Go for a soft-spoken focus video or some gentle nature ambiance. Basically, avoid the super sleepy whispering when you actually need to be productive. Then at night, that's when you bring in the cozy wind-down ASMR. Use familiar triggers, keep the volume low, avoid any sudden sounds, and definitely set a timer. The goal here isn't to just escape winter. The goal is to give your nervous system reliable signals of stability throughout the entire day.
I want to leave you with a really beautiful thought from our sources today. You deserve both science and softness. If winter just brings you a mild heaviness, ASMR is a fantastic way to add some comfort. But if winter brings serious, debilitating symptoms, ASMR needs to sit right beside real medical treatment, not replace it. You absolutely deserve the rigorous clinical help for your body clock, and you deserve the gentle comfort for your mind when the day just feels too heavy. As we wrap up this explainer, I'd love for you to think about your own psychological landing pad. What winter sound feels the absolute most comforting to you? Is it the crackle of a fireplace, the hush of falling snow, or maybe just a soft, familiar voice? Figuring out what grounds your attention is step one in building a routine that actually has your back. Remember, seek the light when you need an anchor and find your comforting sounds when it's time to rest. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.